dispensation of time. Your goings are of God. He wanted y'all to wake up and know your nationality. Malachi, don't even deal with her. Come on.
A man's goings are of the Lord.
Come on.
How can a man then understand his own way?
How do we understand that God sent y'all here for a reason? Understand he sent Satan here for a reason. He was trying to prove to see if you were for him.
That's right.
Obviously, y'all didn't give two damns about the name. So what is more important? Your nationality. Give me Deuteronomy 28 verse.
All praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, Harry Great Millstone. You know, when Elder Apostle Hard did this lesson response titled So-Called White Woman, who I believe could actually just be an angel, presses IUIC about the name of the Most High. Just like the Elder Apostle said, clearly this is the spirit. These men were teaching, and then all of a sudden this so-called white woman, we say so-called because she looks like a so-called white woman, but she just walks up and just says, what's the name of the Lord? And their reaction, you can go watch the video for yourself, their reaction shows that whenever somebody brings up the name of the Lord, they get irritated, they get annoyed, they get mad. So much so that their hearts start to utter out what they truly think on the inside. And that's how you know it's the Lord that brought this through. This guy talking about you can't call him by his real name. We don't know the name. You will not get the name on this side, on the captivity. You will not get it, only in the kingdom. And what was more important is to teach you the law, statutes, and commandments, and the name is just not important. How fearlessly he can get up there and say, obviously you guys didn't give a damn about the name. That attitude just completely waters down the importance of the name, and they do it fearlessly. And you know what this does? Puts the pressure on their bishop, Nate. And you know how these people are hypocrites? When they hear us say the word Nate, they get mad. It's Bishop Nathaniel. So they'll go to war with you over his name, but you see how they treat the Lord's name. That's why we said IUIC is just a body of zombies. Bishop Nate takes joy in numbers and seeing all these people, but you just got a body of zombies. Yahweh Shai is dealing with quality over quantity. He said he's saving 1/3 of Israel, not 2/3. You guys don't even push 2/3. You don't even push the elect because you're all about numbers, and Yahweh Shem Shai isn't about numbers. He deals with quality over quantity. Who cares how many men you got when they're all a body of zombies, when they won't even push the name of the Lord? Who cares how many you got? I'd rather have a circle of 3 diligent men who are uncompromising and won't stray to the right or the left than I'll take over 50 men. In fact, I'll get mad if 50 men just came down to the camp. Hey, we wanted to join GMS, etc. I'm gonna get mad because I know 48 of them are full of shit. Because we know Jake. Now, when stuff like this happens behind the scenes, Nate knows the deal. So it's going to be interesting to see what he'll say in his next coming lesson, because he knows it's the spirit that's pressing on him to continue to push his name. That woman just walks up out of nowhere and asks the question to all the listeners and followers, what's the name of the Lord? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? And they get annoyed for somebody to come up and say, what's the name of the Lord? And that can throw off your whole camp session. When the answer is simple, we know the name of the Lord. Sister's name is Yahweh and the son's name is Yahweh Shai. But they take it as, oh no, this is Satan coming up, trying to throw you off with the name. And the Lord wants this controversy regarding the name out there. He wants it. Why? Because in Matthew chapter 12, verse 36, verse 35, a good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. So deep down inwardly, the Lord knows what these people are thinking, but he's going to pry it out of you by way of the Spirit, by way of any individual, which that, for all we know, that woman right there could have just been a very angel. Now imagine the report that the angel's going back with to the Lord. That's scary. But you know what? Are we expecting really anything less than the zombies of IUIC? No. We know who's the culprit behind it. We know who's really the issue behind it. We know who's pushing that narrative to mock the name of the Lord and undermine the name, his importance of his name. We know who that is. That's the leadership of IUIC, beginning with their leader, Bishop Nathaniel, because they just follow him. So he could easily just say, listen, it's time we start teaching the true name of Yahweh Shai. You know, we've been going off, but it's true. We need to really push those names, and hell, change your damn name itself and don't call him Jesus or Christ. He knows that's all he has to do. But I believe he doesn't want to do it because in his mind, he's given victory over to Great Millstone, because Great Millstone is the only group that's actually getting on him for the things that they're doing and the doctrines they're going off. The other Israelite groups are full of shit. Why? Because really they just want to get a bag thrown their way. They're hoping that IUIC throw them a biscuit so they can get a piece of that pie as well, even though they're clearly going off on multiple doctrines. Their idea is, no, we ain't gonna say nothing because we just ain't gonna say nothing. That's according to the scripture. That's respect of persons. But let GMS go off and have a slip of the tongue or whatever. All of these same Israelite groups would go a whole week. GMS went off. GMS went off. But when IUIC are clearly going off and disrespecting the name, then it's, no, we ain't gonna say nothing. You're full of shit and you're not men of the Lord. Now, if not last week, the week before, they did a lesson titled Prepare for the Maccabees' Perils. Now, this is them explaining how they went to, I forgot what island they went to, but they were met with hostility towards the people there. And they were saying, we don't want them IUIC guys here because they're radicals or whatever. So they came back, they showed footage, and he basically went into details of the Maccabees on how the Israelites were persecuted for trying to teach the word. He basically was explaining Jacob's trouble, which is good. He just didn't label it Jacob's trouble, but he's explaining about how the prophets upcoming are going to go through some hell, which is actually a good lesson. But multiple times, right? At least twice I can remember, because I didn't really watch the whole thing full, kind of skimmed through it. He threw the name Yahushua in there twice, just because he knows inwardly that what he's saying is wrong. And he's being sarcastic, but he always has to throw in some type of smart remark. When he just can't say Yahushua, you're going to see he's got to throw in there, oh, it's the same thing, doesn't matter. Something like that. He has to, because if he just says Yahushua, in his mind, I've given victory to Great Millstone, and I can't do that. I can't get them niggas the satisfaction of me saying the names. So here, just listen.
Bind the sacrifice with cords. So cords goes into rope. What binds the 12 tribes together, brothers? God's laws. His laws. That's what the cords is talking about. Okay? Give me Acts 4:18.
And commanded them not to speak at all, nor teach in the name of Jesus.
So what happened with the apostles? It has started to happen with us now, where they're commanding us not to teach in the name of Christ. Yahushua, you feel better? Same thing. So they're commanding us not to teach in that name.
You see? Because they know the apostles are watching. They know Great Millstones are watching. So when he says that now, he already knows. So it's in the back of his mind. It's like a thorn to his side. Just to teach the name of the Lord. Can you believe that? But you see how you had to throw it in there? It's the same thing. So you're equating Yahushua with Jesus Christ, and you're saying that's the same thing. Really? Now, how many times did we didn't go to the internet and type in the word Jesus Christ, and the entire so-called white man with blue eyes, with stringy hair, the same image that you debunk all the time? You got images up and you debunk the image all the time, but yeah, you're still calling on that name. What part of Yahweh, what part of don't you understand how simple it is to understand? You have two gods. You have Jesus Christ. That's a God in itself. And then you have Yahushua, which is another God. So how can you say Yahushua and Jesus Christ, same thing? How can you say that? Here's my question. Why don't you just call the Lord Baal? You know, Baal just means Lord. Let me type that in. Baal just means Lord. And since the name don't matter, why don't you call him Baal? Let me see. Baal. Numbers 22:41. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam and brought him up in the high places of Baal, that thence he might see the uttermost part of the people. If you go to the word Baal, Bamawath, high places, town. Okay, no, this is a different word. Let's go. Let's type it in again. Baal. Okay, Judges 2:13. And they forsook the Lord Yahweh and served Baal and Ashtoreth. Let's go to that word Baal, which is Baal, which means Lord. Lord. So the word Baal means Lord. You call him Christ. The word Christ means anointed, which means which is a Greek word for Christos, which means anointed, which goes back to the Hebrew Mashiach. So why don't you just call him Mashiach? Or just call him Baal? Why won't you do that? Huh? Will you get mad at your congregation if they went out there and teach and they said, because we teach in the name of Baal? The word Baal just means Lord. So if it doesn't matter what his name is, why don't you call him Baal? And these same hypocrites will say, you can't say that Baal is the name of another God. It doesn't matter what it means. It's the name of another God. Well, guess what? Jesus Christ is the name of another God. But yet you still hold on to that name because you took a bribe. And that's all going to come out. Go listen to my man, Cat Williams. This is the time of truth. All lies will be exposed. The book of Jude 1, verse 11. Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain and ran greedily after error of Balaam for reward, and perisheth in the gainsaying of the core. Yeah, exactly. In the era of Balaam was given a commandment by the Lord. When you read the story, the Lord told Balaam when the Moabites reached out to him, he said, you ain't gonna go down with them, send them away. So Balaam, he sent them away. But then Balak said, send more men and tell him I'm gonna promote him. I'll give him some money. So then Balaam said, okay, well then let me go and ask the Lord. And the Lord said, you're going to stay there until I tell you. And when those men come up there and seek for you, then you can go. But the first thing Balaam did when he woke up, he went down there by himself. He said, I'm going to head down there. So then that's when the donkey saw the angel, ran away from the angel. And then the Lord opened up the donkey's mouth and said, what you getting mad at me for? And Balaam was like, because you're not listening. And the angel said, first of all, you shouldn't get mad at the donkey because the donkey saw me. And surely I was about to slay thee unless your donkey fled. So you should be thanking your donkey, if anything. So then he said, okay, I'm sorry. So then that's when the angel said, I need you to, go down there and you're going to tell him exactly what I said. So the point is, he was told not to follow Balak or listen to Balak. But because he was offered gifts and money, he went against the commandment of the Lord. Because he said, unless the Lord gives me fame and riches, he said, unless Balak gives me his house full of silver and gold, I will not go against the commandment of the Lord. So what did he say? Unless you offer me, I'm going to read it. Numbers 23. I'm sorry. Just to get to the point. Verse 17, this is what Balak said. For I will promote thee into a very great honor, and I will do whatsoever thou saidest unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. And Balaam said and answered and said unto the servants of Balak, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord Yahweh my power to do less or more. So he said, unless you give me this amount of money, I'm not going to disobey the commandment of the Lord, which means what? He was willing to disobey the commandment of the Lord for the sake of gain. So that's why Jude says back here, verse 11, woe to them, for they have gone in the way of Cain and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward. So they going against the commandment for the Lord for reward. Okay, it says, and perish in the gainsaying of the cord. These are spots in your feast of charity. When they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear. Them guys got no fear. That guy is fearlessly saying these things on camera. So clearly, the Lord, you didn't give a damn about the Lord's name. So they literally just saying the Lord's name is nada. It means nothing. It's not important, period. Don't worry about that. Here's what's more important: your nationality. So the Lord's name is just last. And he said, you will never receive the Lord's name on this side. Let me not throw the word never in there. He said, you will not receive the Lord's name on this side. Where's that in the scriptures? The book of Psalms 20:7 says, I'm going to read it. It says, these are spots in your feast of charity when they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear. Clouds they are without water, carried about of winds. Trees whose fruit withereth, without fruit, twice dead, plucked up by the roots. You know what that means? Good for nothing. It's just a cloudy day. It's been cloudy all week, but it brought no rain. Good for nothing. Clouds without water, right? Trees whose fruit withereth without fruit. Just good for nothing. You got a body full of zombies, man. It's quality over quantity. The book of Psalms 20. Verse 7, some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord Yahweh, our power, Elohim. So these guys, proud and fearless to disregard the Lord's name. Their leader knows the deal, and he knows what must be done to set his house aright. Okay. You know, it was a car last time. What did the Lord send a bus next time, huh? Or an 18-wheeler. How many bodies is it going to take for their leader to swallow his pride and to teach the true name of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai and his son, and to truly push the magnificence and the importance of the name? How many? How many? And best believe when all hell breaks loose, when hell comes to your door, you're going to be calling and teaching on those names. And Yahweh, Yahweh Shai is going to judge you according to your words. Okay, he wants the controversy out there of his name, because out of your own words, you're going to show what's in your true intent in your heart. This is how you just showed exactly how you feel about the Lord's name. So now the Lord is justified and bring a judgment upon you. And when the Lord bring that judgment upon you, you're going to call upon those names. But the Lord can easily say, well, wait a minute. What about all the individuals you told that my name means nothing? They want to call upon my name too, but because of your teachings, they disregard the name. So you mean to tell me you're going to call upon my name to save your own ass, but you didn't teach the sheep to do the same? Huh? You really think you could fool the Lord that easily? That's how we know this year 2024 is going to be a hell of a ride for Jake. We know what's coming. And unless these Israelite groups leaders do the right thing and just humble down and teach the true name and doctrine and make amends, they have opened themselves up to the wiles of Satan, because now they have no hedge. You wonder why they got no hedge around them, because they ain't calling upon the names of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, and they disregard the names. When somebody come up and say, what's the name of the Lord? They get mad. They get mad. I'm so tired of you guys with this. It don't matter. Their leader being sarcastic. Yahweh Shai, it's the same thing. Okay, then call him Baal then. Isn't that the same thing? It just means Lord. Why don't you call the Lord Baal? Hypocrites, man. Shalom.